Welcome to the Common Man Football Show. My name is James Coburn, and today's episode, we're talking about the Baltimore Ravens versus Minnesota Vikings Week 7 matchup based on analytics. Each week, I collect all of the current 2017 NFL team data in order to analyze and project potential NFL performance. And since it's a weekly collection, it will always be very fluid in terms of keeping track of various team trends. However, there will always be little nuggets of data that could become bigger nuggets of data as the season continues. So stick around as I analyze each week's matchups based on analytics. And if you're new to the channel, all terms and definitions will be in the description. So starting out with this one particular game of the Ravens versus the Vikings. When you look at the basic NFL stat comparisons, which is just a general sort of setting on how the offense is doing, how the defense is doing, how special teams is doing, all the other kind of stuff. And most of the data favors the Vikings. The overall data, or all, which just encompasses all this stuff, favors the Vikings. So let's just get into kind of a quick sort of overview of where the Vikings have the advantages, like the clear advantages. First off is offense, the total O score, which is basically the ability to create first downs as offense. The Vikings are one of the best teams in the NFL when it comes to creating first downs on offense, while the Ravens are above average, but not amazing. So, offensively speaking, the Vikings are just better when it comes to creating first downs on offense. The Vikings are also better when it comes to the turnover ratio. The reason why the Ravens have lost the games that they've lost is because of picks. It's because of turnovers. It's because of Flacco. They've been turning the football over too much. And if you're going to do that, this is what's going to happen. So the Vikings have not had that issue this year. They've been one of the better teams in the NFL when it comes to turnovers, but the Ravens haven't. And as a result, the Ravens are just advantaged there. Sack percentage, the Vikings prevent more sacks than the Ravens, which is another big advantage for them. Offensive score percentage, the Vikings are better in that regard than the Ravens as well. The Ravens just don't put up enough points on offense. Whereas the Vikings do. Now the Vikings aren't an amazing offense. They're not putting 50 burgers on everybody, but they are better. Defensively, it's a different story, though. This is like the only difference is that the Ravens do have a better defense. Their defensive score preventions, defensive offensive score percentage is a score basically looking at the ability to prevent points. And the Ravens are better at preventing points than the Vikings. The Ravens are also better when it comes to creating turnovers than the Vikings. And the Ravens also are better when it comes to sacking the quarterback and getting interceptions than the Vikings. So defensively speaking, the Ravens do have advantages. It's just offensively speaking, the Vikings are just much better in terms of everything. Like there's a bigger disparity with these offenses than these defenses, I guess is the best way to put it. Then, of course, you look at special teams. Punt return yardage is more so with the Ravens. Kick return yardage also with the Ravens. Preventing punt return yardage in terms of defensive punt return yardage is with the Vikings. Defensive kick return yardage is with the Ravens. Field goal percentage is more so with the Vikings, who have a much better field goal percentage than the Ravens, who are about average. Extra point percentage is also with the Ravens. Punting average is with the Ravens. So special teams wise, I would give this to the Ravens, except for the fact that the Vikings have better scoring. Special teams, field goal percentage is better with the Vikings, but everything else is with the Ravens. So I'll give Ravens the special teams. I'll give the Ravens the defensive advantages. It's just offensively, there's a huge disparity between the offenses here. You have one offense that doesn't turn the football over and scores points, and you have another offense that turns the football over a lot. It doesn't score a lot of points. So sometimes it doesn't matter how good your defense is. If this is what you're going to war with, you're not going to lose. You're not going to win as many wars when you have that scenario. So that's just the issue there. Then we look at some other sort of data points. So looking at things like completion percentage and running downs in terms of the ability to create first downs with the run, creating first downs with the pass, sacks, interceptions, stuff like that. So this is the completion percentage of the Ravens offense versus the Vikings defense. Not going to really get into too much of this, but you can kind of see the comparisons here. Then, of course, you got the Vikings offense versus the Ravens defense when it comes to completion percentage. mostly favors the Ravens in that particular aspect of things. Then you look at the rushing down. So again, this is the Ravens rushing offense versus the Vikings rushing defense, and it heavily favors the Vikings. Whether you're talking first down situations or third down situations, the Vikings, just have a much better rushing defense, except for second downs. The only situations that the Ravens actually do well when it comes to running the football is second down situations, and the only area where the Vikings kind of are below average in terms of preventing the run is second downs as well. So that's the only sort of area where there's some advantages there. And then, of course, you look at running Vikings rushing offense versus Ravens rushing defense. And the Vikings are pretty consistent here throughout the entire year with Dalvin Cook, Jerick McKinnon, all those guys. They're not the best when it comes to creating first downs with the run on first down, second down, but they seal the deal on third down. They're one of the better third down rushing offenses in the NFL, and they're about average when it comes to second down situations. But they do have enough. They do have enough stuff here to say that they will have the advantage here when it comes to the Ravens defense. Then you look at passing down. So this is the Ravens passing offense versus the Vikings passing defense. Again, the Vikings have pretty much one of the best third down defenses in the NFL when it comes to preventing passing downs. And the Ravens, that's just not a thing you want to see when you're the Ravens. So this is going to be an issue, definitely, for the Ravens who have to contend with this kind of situation. So that's going to be an issue. Then, of course, you look at passing downs, the Vikings passing offense versus the Ravens passing defense, and mostly favors the Ravens defense here, except for second down situations. The big area where the Vikings thrive on offense when it comes to passing downs is second down situations in a major way. So I think that will be the scenario that will be the most successful. But I still think the Ravens will have some success, whether you're talking first down or third down. They're going to make them earn every down, every first down. So that's just kind of the basic points I wanted to get out of the way there. Then, of course, you look at sacks. So this is the Ravens offense versus the Vikings defense when it comes to sack percentage. And overall, when you look at this, second down scenarios, the Ravens definitely have a big advantage when it comes to second down. A little bit more even on first down. Third down is a little iffy. I would say this is kind of more so in the Ravens' advantage here. But there are some areas where I think the Vikings could have some success. Then you look at the Vikings offense versus the Ravens defense when it comes to sacks. And mostly favors the Vikings offense, with only a big issue in terms of third down situations. Then you look at interception ratio. So this is the Ravens offense versus the Vikings defense when it comes to interceptions. Mostly favors the Vikings defense. Overall, again, Joe Flacco and this offense in general has had lots of issues in terms of turnovers throughout the entire year, and I think the Vikings will have success there. And then finally, you look at the Vikings offense versus the Ravens defense when it comes to turnovers, and slightly favors the Ravens, but I would say it is pretty evenly matched. The Vikings don't really turn over the football that much in terms of interceptions, but the Ravens are ball hawks, man. They do create turnovers. So this is going to be another key sort of matchup to kind of watch because of that. But the Vikings realistically don't really turn the football over that much in terms of the pass. So overall, how do I feel about this particular game? Well, I think this is a Vikings victory. I think that they will have some success with the run. I think they're going to earn this win. I mean, I think this could easily be kind of a slog kind of a game where you're just fighting to the end and there's lots of, stuff as a result. But yeah, I really do think that the Vikings will win this game. I just don't think they're as dysfunctional as the Ravens. I mean, again, I'm not saying it's all the Ravens' fault, but I just think, offensively speaking, it's just way too dysfunctional. There's too many turnovers. There's not enough points being put on the board, and I just do not. You would have to bank on a offensive collapse by the Vikings. You would have to bank on the Vikings offense just collapsing and turning the football over a ton, and doing stuff like that for them to lose. So I just can't envision that. But that definitely would be one way that the Ravens would win is if they were able to do that, if the defense was able to, control things, I guess, a bit. So with that, I'm going to go Vikings victory. Of course, my name is James Coburn. You can find my other work at draftcoburn.wordpress.com. You can also follow me on Twitter at Geometrics. And if you like this content and you want more content like this, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Share this video as well with anybody that you know, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Peace.